Let's do this. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to another Thursday edition of Crypto Connoisseurs. And tonight, or today, or afternoon, wherever you are in the world, we have a video coming to you just all about NFTs. And because we don't really have any game, well, we do. Crypto Stache is kind of a game founder, but since we're talking today with some KOLs or influencers, we're going to tell you how to make money from NFTs. And I don't really ever talk about that specifically, right? We kind of touch on it here and there, but tonight we have the freedom to talk about making money from NFTs, which is why I know a lot of you are in NFTs. Some of you like the art, some of you like the utility. Let's be real. A lot of you guys like the gains, those X's. So in the video tonight, we've got two industry experts who are balls deep in the industry. We got Crypto Stache, who runs his own NFT education platform, and we got the visionary founder, from the Doge Pound in the house. And they are going to bring so much alpha tonight to you guys. And you have to make sure to stay tuned the whole thing, front to back. We're going to bring you some serious insider information today. So before we get into that, let's talk about the most dramatic news happening on the macro level in the world of crypto, NFTs, metaverse, things like that. So we got Facebook, who launched a $50 million fund to help grow their version of contributing to the metaverse. And they're doing all kinds of things in Africa and investing a lot of different things to help them research. They want to stay ahead of the game when it comes to it. But Facebook, I got news for you. People have been working on this for a while. You're not ahead of the game. You're catching up still. All right. We got Tether. Tether actually won the lawsuit, which I am shocked. We thought that this was going to be a forever case. It just goes to show you that they're too big to fail, in my opinion, at this point. I still don't believe if they got the assets backing them that they need, but at least we can wipe that sweat off our brow, move on with that drama, and no one has to be afraid of their USDT anymore. Maybe. I'm still holding USDC over it anyway. All right, we got Thailand, where I live. Thailand's TAT, the Tourist Authority of Thailand, announced that they want to do a utility token, But reading the article, they don't actually know what the utility is going to be. So Thailand, TAT, if you're listening to this one, please reach out. I'm in your backyard, and we can help you with that. We're experts at token utility. Verifone. Verifone has a partnership with BitPay, where they're going to allow a lot more crypto payments to retailers all over the United States. But what I thought was incredibly interesting was that recent data show that 93% of crypto users surveyed would consider making purchases in crypto. Well, that's interesting, but what's also interesting is that they said 59% of consumers who didn't hold crypto would be interested in in using it to make purchases in the future. Well, you might say, well, Kyle, nobody wants to spend their crypto to make purchases because it's going to appreciate, right? Like no one wants to spend their Bitcoin. With the picture, please. No one wants to spend their Bitcoin to make payments, but if you're all in like I am, well, you don't have fiat, so you kind of have to. So this is exciting for me. Next, we got El Salvador. This president is just following through on what he promises. First, he made Bitcoin legal tender, and then he made it rain on all of El Salvador, just making it rain Bitcoin, so everyone got their $30 as promised. And now he's saying, what's up? We got the volcano ready to rock and roll. It's already rocking and rolling. We're doing hydrothermal power, and we are mining the F out of Bitcoin. El Salvador is going to be one of the richest countries in the world in the next 10 years. I promise you, you heard it here first. No, you didn't, but I still guarantee that. All right, so now we're going to bring on our guests. First, before I bring on first one, I just got to show you something like here. This is what I got to say to our man from the Doge Pound.
Kyle, you're a piece of shit.
Kyle, welcome, brother. How's it going?
What's up, Kyle? How you doing, man?
Yeah, man, all good over here. Welcome to the show, man. Good to have you here.
I didn't expect that. I'm not gonna lie, but I'm glad you played it.
Man, you guys, our Telegram group is ridiculous. My team is playing on the Kyle Squared angle, and it's hilarious. So, thanks for being on, Kyle. Let's bring on Stache. What's up happening? What's happening, man?
What's up, Kyle? What's going on, man?
Yeah, all good. Which Kyle?
Both Kyles.
What's up, man? Glad to have you. Yes, sir. So really happy to have both of you guys on here. Welcome to the show. I didn't talk about crypto cases, but I'll do that toward the middle of the show. So I want to know what you guys are into right now. What are you looking at? And how are you making money from NFTs? If you are, how are you doing it?
You want me to go ahead, Stache?
Go for it, man. You take it away, Mr. Doge Pound.
Well, so I can't say I really have a whole lot of time to look for other projects to mint that often. The projects I personally am invested are more the OG projects, Bored Ape, Cool Cats. Those are probably the two main projects I have the majority of my money in outside of the Doge Pound. But as far as helping people make money, we are actually doing something through the Doge Pound that I think is kind of a little bit innovative in the space, at least from an NFT brand. We launched a launch pad, and we're working with a lot of really huge brands and influencers in the space, and everyone that currently holds the Doge Pound NFT is getting early access to these projects. And I guess I could speak to that more later on, but I think it's going to be pretty important going forward to kind of avoid gas wars and to get early access into things that have potential to make a lot of money.
Yeah, but I couldn't agree with you more. So we're turning Apollo X into is just an NFT launchpad over at Paid Network. I think these gas wars are ridiculous. I talked about it before in the show. When I minted the Galaxy eggs, we had I think one of the mining firms in China got like 5,000 of those mints or something like that, and it just becomes an impossible feat for me to have minted the one. I got lucky. I got like the tail end of the mint, and I still had to pay $9,000 in gas to get that mint. So it was ridiculous.
I think from a project standpoint too, I mean, you should have a pretty good indication prior to launching, like how much the hype is going to be. And I think people should start to implement things that make it a better experience for people, not even just from a launchpad standpoint. If you're launching a project right now, there's things you can do to avoid gas wars to a certain extent. So I think we'll see more of that as time goes on too, and teams get more experienced, and maybe the barrier to entry to make an NFT project and be successful is the standards a little bit higher.
Yeah, for sure. Stache, what about you, man?
Yeah, I mean, so I definitely make money off of NFTs every single day in kind of like multiple ways, right? When it comes to NFTs, a lot of people are very focused on NFTs on Ethereum and kind of feel that's the only place where NFTs are happening, which I kind of laugh at, man, because, being in this game since 2017, there's a lot more going on out there. Ethereum obviously was the original, right? There where we see a lot of these bigger projects exploding, but it's become pretty oversaturated, man. So I've been very selective on what I'm going after on Ethereum right now, because there's a lot of people just trying to cash grab.
Yeah,
a lot of the same stuff we're seeing over and over again. These generative PFP projects, a lot of them probably done by the same teams, just rehashing things over and over, and it's just not really bringing a lot to the space. A lot of them don't even have utility. In a lot of different ways. And so, that's one of the things I really look for. And, to be perfectly honest, like, the ecosystem in Ethereum is so redundant. Like, I actually make a lot more money in other NFT ecosystems than I do in Ethereum a lot of times, just because it's really hard to really know exactly what is going to blow up, because there's ways for people to pump up their communities and get things going, but that doesn't always mean that the floor price is going to sustain, or that it's really going to increase in value. So I mean, a lot of times it could just be a crapshoot, man. So but I'm definitely making money in NFTs. In general, I do really focus on gaming. I focus on NFT gaming, because that's really where I feel like a lot of the utility is a lot more prevalent for the NFTs themselves, and there's real use case there for those types of NFTs. So I tend to like to gravitate towards anything that kind of has a gaming element to it, right?
Does that include like generative NFT lines that have like gamification tied into it, or are you talking about like mostly blockchain games?
Kind of both, I would say. Probably more on the actual game side. Gamification is different than an actual game. Like, you can make something gamified, and it's like, okay, well, there's something to that. Maybe it's point and click or something of that nature, but it's not like an actual true game. And that's what I'm saying. I think a lot of these projects on Ethereum are just kind of weak, man, is what it comes down to. But for whatever reason, there's just so much hype around this one trend. And I think it's a trend that's going to kind of start to fade away here with so much oversaturation. I mean, look at you know, what's going on in gaming right now outside of these generative projects, and there's so much amazing, diverse, cool, fun things to be a part of, and you know, they have real cool utility. And then you step outside of Ethereum, and you know, ecosystems like Wax, which are highly undervalued, man. You know what's going on there, the types of NFT projects that are you know, popping up there, and what they're actually doing as far as functions and utilities. It's like light years beyond what people are doing on Ethereum. I mean,
Wow,
light years, man.
I didn't even know that.
You can't. Yeah, I mean, I'm like the functions, and then you can't even achieve that on Ethereum because of the gas fees. It's impossible.
Where, first of all, what's the most popular marketplace for Wax? And second, what kind of functionality are you talking about? I'm curious to know.
So the most popular, you know, marketplace for Wax is called Atomic Hub, and they're the creators of the kind of main NFT standard on Wax. And so when we talk about like what abilities do we have on, I mean, it's like I said, it goes pretty far. So being able to send an NFT for free. I mean, that's a pretty basic ass one, but I mean, you can't do that on Ethereum. A very basic function. I can't send anybody an NFT for free on Ethereum. So that right there, you think about like how much does that really take away, and then you know, just getting well beyond that, you know, things like being able to blend NFTs together, essentially crafting two NFTs to make another NFT. There's tons of different functions you can use to do that. In particular, you know, making some pretty interesting games too. That don't have, you know, crazy high gas fees to be able to play. So yeah, I mean, like a lot of functions going on there on you know, Wax and other blockchains too. You know, Solana is definitely starting to come up with some pretty good functions and features, but they're very much just getting started. But some other underdogs like the Phantasma chain, they have a really great marketplace called Ghost Market. Where you can do some pretty interesting things, unlockable content. You can do NFTs of NFTs. So an NFT that holds multiple NFTs that you can either sell as one or break them down as individuals. I mean, there's so much more function and utility out there, and people just get so hung up on Ethereum and these same like rehash projects that, you know, I think a lot of people are going to end up being wrecked here eventually, you know, holding a lot of these things that are very redundant. You know, some of these OG projects for sure are going to retain value, but how many of these projects can really go on into the future and maintain these communities and maintain whatever semblance of utility that they have given out there, when a lot of these people in the community are just the same people over and over and over and over again?
Do you think that where a project chooses to mint says something, can potentially say something about how confident they feel in the ability for their collection to hold value? So what I mean is, like, I think the entire collection of CryptoPunks is worth something over $1 billion, right? So I think it's actually worth a lot more than that. But so if you put over $1 billion of value on a blockchain that has far less security, right? Because if you can send something for free to somebody, that means you're not paying network fees, which means that there's probably not validators securing the network. Certainly not as much as there would be Ethereum, but not as much security. So I think like, for me, I feel like if I was minting something that I didn't expect to hold so much value over time, I would feel more comfortable if it was like for a lower barrier to entry type of market. Sure, Solana, Wax, whatever. But if I felt like I was making something that I wanted to make sure was going to be around for a long time, and that all that value locked in that ecosystem was going to be secure, I probably might go for Ethereum. What do you feel? How do you feel about that?
I mean, there's definitely benefits and you know, to going with the predominant chain, we'll say. You know, security is definitely one of them, but that doesn't mean that these other chains don't have high security because you can send an NFT for free. I mean, maybe you don't know how EOS works or how Wax works, but in general, no, they definitely do have validators, and it's a very secure network that's been doing, you know, pretty high volume transactions in general. But also the marketplace on Atomic Hub actually has more users than OpenSea does.
No way. I had no idea.
Now, not more volume, right? Because Ethereum NFTs have to be expensive. And see, that's really the trick and the kicker that a lot of people don't necessarily understand, is that, you know, they want to do their NFTs on Ethereum because they see these trends and like, oh, wow, if these guys can do it, they can charge $900 per NFT just out the gate. Well, then everybody can do it, and I can do it too. And that's what my standard will be, because that's what everyone accepts on that platform. Well, you have to. Because if you don't, then you're going to be paying that much in fees. Like, who's going to pay $300 in fees for a $100 NFT? You simply can't even do it.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Are you seeing the same types of gains on these other chains as well?
100%. You know, when you talk about percentage gains, so it's like,
Right.
okay, well, I bought a punk for, 25 ETH, we'll say, and I sold it for 30 ETH. I mean, that same percentage gains, you may be able to buy an NFT for $10 on Wax and sell it for 100. And you're like, oh my gosh, well, that's not the same amount, but the percentage wise is actually far greater. So you do that a bunch of times over, which is pretty easy to do. You have some pretty good gains there. And, so I mean, I think that there's a lot of opportunity out there for these alternative chains versus what's going on in Ethereum, and having to just piss away thousands and thousands of dollars in gas wars, trying to mint these NFTs early on. And trading, pretty much everything's buying, selling. It all costs something. It all costs big dollars to be able to get going on those things. And then you think about like, okay, well, if I'm jumping into these projects over and over and over again, you're paying an open fee to list it the very first time, every time. So I mean, once again, it's just another way of draining your wallet there. And I mean, people go and look at those gas fee estimations of how much they paid over time. I mean, so I cringe at that shit sometimes, even myself. And I'm like I said, I'm very picky on what I'm buying on Ethereum. And I even look at that. I'm like, holy crap, I spent $30,000, $40,000 in gas fees. Like, why? How is that the future? Tell me how that's the future. Tell me how a high barrier to entry makes sense for mainstream adoption.
Yeah, I think that's a good thing to extrapolate from that is like most of us who are getting into NFTs make a lot of mistakes. we buy a fake collection, or get lured into something like we talked about on our show a couple of weeks ago, where we follow somebody's wallet, we think it's something that they actually minted or purchased, but if someone just dropped it in their wallet, so we buy this thing or whatever. And these mistakes on Ethereum are expensive, super expensive to make mistakes on Ethereum. But if you're coming into a lower barrier to entry, or something that you're not going to have to, you didn't spend $100, $200 on gas each time, and that starting price was much, much lower. I think it's a good place. It's a very good thing to maybe go try to learn. And because I'm sure the same kind of malicious behavior exists on any chain that is out there. So yeah, that's a good thing to think about. Kyle, did you ever think about doing a mint on a different chain?
Yeah, I mean, so I would say more or less agree with everything that Crypto Stache said. We are actively looking into other chains. The ones that we're looking at right now are mostly Cardano, Binance, and Solana. And then I would like to get on top of Bitcoin when they have the chance to launch NFTs there. But, as we deal with bigger brands and we try and expand the ecosystem internally here at the Doge Pound, we have to look for other platforms here. So as we do stuff with, we're talking to some charities right now, and we want to give an experience where people can, basically where every time you're buying something within the Doge Pound, there's an experience linked to a charity, and it looks like, an experience with helping the dog, and maybe there's free minting involved with that. So we wouldn't be able to do that on Ethereum. Like Crypto Stache said, we can't do mass adoption or even get people into the ecosystem or into our community just all on Ethereum, because the price point is very high, and it's just it does kind of leave you guessing what else could there be, or what else could we do. So we are actively looking into it. I think we'll probably start testing other chains within the next 1 to 2 months. We're doing a holiday collection coming up here, and we're going to release that on probably either Solana or Cardano. Maybe we'll test Wax. I've done some stuff on Wax. I've minted the MLB collection there. I remember when that came out, and then there was Weezer did a NFT there that I bought.
Wax has big IPs, man. When it comes down to the difference there are obviously large people doing, mostly I feel like celebrity focused stuff, and then not as many brands coming to Ethereum to do their NFTs, but some pretty interesting brands like that have come to Wax to mint their stuff.
Yeah. So Stache, I'm guessing that a lot of people, like myself, I've never checked out Wax, and I don't even know everything that I go to, every Discord group that I'm in, every alpha group, everything on Twitter, it's always pointing me either to Solana or Ethereum. So am I looking in the wrong place? And where do people go to look at Wax, Alpha, like to check out that kind of stuff, or Phantasma or something else? Because I don't come across this stuff very often. And next question too is, if someone were to go check it out tonight or tomorrow, are there any exciting projects coming up that you're looking at?
Yeah, I mean, I think that because a lot of these communities are like I said, a little bit of a circle jerk, man. You get the same people in the same groups trying to pump the same types of projects and, go for that kind of cash grab on Ethereum. So, I mean, I don't think that there's a lot of people who are focused on some of these other things. But then when you actually get into the communities, into some of these community discords and channels, I think you really start to see how incredibly vibrant and big and large scale these communities are. They just don't interact with Ethereum in that kind of way. I mean, Wax even has a bridge from Ethereum over to Wax, and they're actually launching their NFT bridge for that here pretty soon. So you'll be able to port an NFT from Ethereum over to Wax or from Wax over to Ethereum if you want as well.
Sweet.
There's a lot of crazy functionality going on there, but as far as the communities go, yeah, I mean, I think that that there's not a lot of crossover there. I think the people who are in some of these other communities are there because they're kind of fed up with what's going on in Ethereum or some of these other chains. Solana's got a lot of notoriety here recently because, of the appreciation of their coin, but their NFT ecosystem is incredibly new. And we've already seen a ton of problems and issues with launches there with the chain itself. I mean, the Solana blockchain just straight went down the other day. Like, then they're like, hey, we'll just restart it for you guys. So when you want to talk about security, that's not the best sign. I mean, I mean, whereas like them and Cardano are both like pretty fledgling type of NFT ecosystems that have some good stuff going on for them. There are some issues there to overcome and some of that longevity in the community. Wax already has that. They've been established for years now as an NFT chain, and in my opinion, by far the second most diverse and fleshed out and largest community after Ethereum. But like I said, for whatever reason, just incredibly undervalued, even though there's so much that's been there. Then you look at some other chains like Tezos is doing some pretty cool things. There's some pretty interesting projects on Tezos, and also on Phantasma, which is a smaller chain, but has worked with some pretty big brands and names in the industry too. But yeah, it's all about the community. When you talk about finding NFTs in general and trying to make money off of an NFT and trying to flip them, whatever it is, you have to get in those communities. So if you're looking at a project that is getting ready to mint, jumping in their Discord, finding out about them, talking with people there, I mean, that's really how you find these opportunities. And so, there's like the very specific groups that are about one project, and then there are some groups that are about, just what's going on in general, right? And I mean, Discord just kind of exploded with all those things. And I mean, I'm getting hit up every day, like every day with 20, 30 messages about come to our group, check out this group.
Yeah.
So once you get one or two, you start to get these spam messages of a bunch of other ones. And honestly, I mean, as horrible as that may be, it's at least a way to kind of check some things out. Also staying up on Twitter is important too, I think.
So is it also just Discord? Like I literally haven't come across like a Wax mint or opportunity. So where is there? Do they exist somewhere else, like these communities, or is it just like I'm just looking in the wrong places, or like you said, I'm just sitting in the middle of a circle jerk and
I just think you probably weren't looking, man. I mean, yeah, if you didn't really know about it, you're not looking, and then there's it's probably not going to find it. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, wherever you're at, Telegram, Discord, Twitter, I mean, wherever you go to look at things, Instagram, TikTok. I mean, it's all over the place. You just, like I said, it just comes down to wanting to venture out, and I think once people do, they start to find that there's a lot more out there than just Ethereum.
So, all right. So, second part of the question was anything coming up on Wax that you're excited about, or Phantasma, or whatever, like any projects that you're excited about.
So some particular ones like on Wax that are coming up. Let me think about that one for a second. They're a new partnership that they just got here not too long ago is with Funko. I don't know if you know Funko Pops are like these collectible vinyl figures. So the other Kyle knows. Kyle, you don't know that, man. Where are you? Stay up on your game, man. But no, Funko Pops are like these massively, hugely collected, physical vinyl figures. These collectors who collect these things, they're insane, man. They'll spend thousands and thousands of dollars on these things. Massive collections. It's a huge thing. It's like, I would say, if you know about the sneaker game, people who collect sneakers,
yeah,
it's like probably second below sneakers. I'm not. It's like
Sure.
it's that crazy. People lining up out the door for these things. Anyways, so they just came to Wax here about 2 months ago and started doing NFT drops on Wax, where you can get where you can have the special ones. You can get redeemable versions. So that's the other cool thing about Wax is they have ways to be able to include physical items that you can redeem through the actual NFTs too. We call them virals, virtual in real life. Anyway, so that they just kind of come to Wax, and they have new collections that are dropping here. They're doing a collaboration with Megadeth, the band, and so they have some cool ones where you can get the NFTs and then get the actual collectible pops ones. And man, those things sell. It's an instant sellout. I mean, when you talk about like trying to mint on Ethereum and things like this, and people are like, oh, I'm trying to get. I mean, the same thing on Wax. These big drops are selling out within one second. The drops are gone. And so that's one of the bigger ones coming up. They've done a couple other ones that are kind of like more IP focused, but the real standouts in Wax are really are like community focused projects, right? So whereas they have some big brands they've worked with, like Weezer and the Major League Baseball, and like I said, Funko's a pretty big one, and quite a few others. Garbage Pail Kids, they were one of the original ones. The community projects on Wax are pretty big standouts. So there's some pretty good ones right now that have just recently released. Ones like Farmer's World, which is a game, NFT based game. Journey to God, which is actually a pretty cool Discord focused NFT game. So they have an NFT enabled Discord, and the NFTs are play a part in that. So they kind of have this pretty cool functionality to be able to play this game through their Discord channel. So a lot of cool things.
Yeah, that sounds epic. Have you guys come across any of these deflationary NFT projects yet? I think this is pretty interesting.
I've seen some on Ethereum. I can't say I've actually bought into any of them. We were trying to do some deflationary stuff here with the Doge Pound too. I just want to say, I think Crypto Stache, he's maybe convincing me that I might have to do something on Wax now.
I mean, you can check it out, man. I would, a lot of people are like, oh, maybe he's just shilling. I mean, I obviously love Wax, but dude, I started creating NFTs on Ethereum in 2018. Yeah. I've done tons of NFTs there. I've worked with, Ethereum since the beginning, since NFTs were created, man. I have a lot of love and everything. So I'm not over here hating Ethereum. It's just that, we've gotten to this place where it just simply has not scaled. It's been years. Yeah. It has been years, and we still don't see anything on the horizon to help with that, man. And in my opinion, paying hundreds of dollars of fees is not feasible. It's becoming a rich man's game, and that's pretty much it. You're leaving most people out. Most people are out because they can't afford to pay hundreds of dollars in these fees. And so like I said, I really want to see Ethereum scale, and I'm very hopeful for solutions like Polygon and also Immutable X, who are helping with that. In particular, on the gaming side, I think it's really important to be able to scale that, because that's what I think is going to be the main line for mainstream adoption. But man, there's a lot out there, and just I think it's a really exciting time, to be doing this stuff and be exploring and just kind of enjoying it and having fun.
In Immutable X, they did their sale today on CoinList, right? But they haven't started trading yet, I guess. You guys know about that?
Yeah, so they have the IMX token. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, do you have any idea when it's start trading?
I don't know when it's supposed to start trading, but yeah, they are doing it through CoinList, that and also their Gods token too. So that's coming up here pretty.
Gods Unchained, right?
Yeah, for Gods Unchained. Yeah, so Immutable is the company behind Gods Unchained, and they launched their own Ethereum-based scaling solution, which I mean, when you look at the tech, is in my opinion is better than Polygon. So they launched their own solution, and it's very much aimed at games and tokens and like that. So they already have a huge stable of products beyond Gods Unchained that are on board, that are going to be working with them. OpenSea is going to be working with them. So
it's got the comments. Dogs Unchained. Kyle, there's your next one, man. Dogs Unchained.
Dogs Unchained. Yeah, I'm actually familiar with that one. That's
a legit project. Okay.
Yeah,
he's like, that's legit. Oh, that's legit.
Fuck, I have no idea. Sorry.
I mean, and like those deflationary mechanics that you're talking about, we've had those on Wax for years already.
Yeah.
Like we've already. That's what I'm saying. So because it's a hard thing to do on Ethereum, because it's a cool thing, but once again, man, you paid to mint the 2 NFTs, and then you got to pay again. I just did this with Crypto Demons, right? So you essentially sacrifice 3 demons for a level 2 demon. and then and it's like a different looking, cooler looking demon. You know what I'm saying? It has different utility to it. But I mean, dude, just paying hundreds of dollars to do this, and then does it it comes down to the when you start adding all these fees up, how much profit have you actually made?
Yep.
So it really just depends, man. I mean, that's why, if you're playing on the bigger leagues like Bored Apes or Gutter Cats or CryptoPunks, I mean, it's probably worth it. But until the NFTs you have are getting to that level, a lot of those fees can be pretty cost prohibitive.
Yeah, I wonder what it's going to take for something like you said, the daily active users at Wax is probably even higher than OpenSea. I wonder what it's going to take for it to really get big money. Ethereum just has all the big money right now, and I think it's just going to take a project to really go to a super, super high price point for more people to look at some of these other platforms. Because you still need Wax or WaxP to buy, right, through Wax platform.
Yeah, just like you need Ethereum.
Yeah. So yeah, like you said,
that's been one of the bigger barrier to entries, I think, for all of the kind of up and coming NFT places, marketplaces, and changes is that Ethereum has that availability. It's super easy to get Ethereum. I mean, everywhere, wherever you want to go, you can get Ethereum pretty easily.
Right.
And so it's a little harder for even like Solana has been a little bit harder, right? Obviously they have a lot more liquidity across different exchanges, but that does become one of the harder things. So but with Wax being listed on Binance and a couple other larger exchanges here recently, Crypto.com, pretty easy to get that cryptocurrency there. So. Someone give a dog a bone. Damn it.
Yeah, I think once it becomes, I think that's one of the main advantages that Ethereum has, obviously, is most people know how to buy Ethereum. I can tell you from my own personal experience, even when I bought like the Topps MLB NFTs on Wax and the Weezer, and I think I bought a couple other ones. It's nice once you get on the platform, but for people to actually figure out how to buy Wax and to get there, it's not easy for someone. Most people don't even know what a MetaMask is still, right? Like how to use a MetaMask, or even some people don't even know how to get Ethereum still. So to get them to do these extra steps is like, solving rocket science.
Well, right. I mean, even for someone brand new coming into crypto, those are huge barrier to entries. Even though Ethereum is incredibly widely available, MetaMask is a industry standard, we'll say, right?
Yeah.
Not the only wallet you can use, but definitely a standard. I mean, those are hard to do if you don't know anything about NFTs. I mean, if you're already in NFTs, whatever, creating another wallet, whatever, jumping on another exchange to buy another crypto, usually you're pretty familiar with that. But for new people, it is hard, man. It is hard.
Yeah.
I think Wax does a pretty good job with onboarding. They have their Wax Cloud wallet, which is it's a custodial wallet, which not my favorite, but great for beginners because all you need is an email address or a social sign-on to get going. You don't need to think about private keys or writing down crazy stuff. So there's that kind of give and take, for mainstream type of onboarding. And then you can buy the cryptocurrency right from that wallet. But still, I mean, it's a daunting task for someone new coming in, no matter where you're going.
Yeah, I'm going to see how it goes even with our own project. Like I said, we're going to test some smaller drops on other platforms, and I'm just going to be interesting to see how some of our users like it. But I'm excited to try some other places.
I want to jump into in-game assets and land, things like that. But before I do, I forgot to talk about this in the beginning of the show, guys. We are doing this Crypto Cases giveaway. If you guys are new to this channel and you don't know about this, there's been an overwhelming amount of support, especially since we turned this into a charitable giveaway. But not all of it's for charity. A lot of it's going to go to people who are watching this channel, watching this show. So make sure that make sure that you're commenting down below, subscribed, and share with your friends. There's going to be millions of dollars given away to people watching this show and subscribe to this channel. But really what's going to drive the value of this thing up through the roof. It's a fact that, and I did see someone in the comments say, some influencers are saying that anything goes to charity is probably a scam. I promise you, this is not. we're going to be making a documentary about this. But basically, when I talked to Gabby from Yield Guild Games, it's really inspired me from this whole play to earn revolution that's happening. It's really kind of kicked off, the whole play to earn gaming and blockchain games and everything like that with Axie. And so, really, I thought this was a great opportunity for everybody who's in the industry to kind of chip in any project. These ones happen to be all ones that I'm familiar with or working with personally. But there's a lot more out there too. So if you know anyone who has a project, or you are a project watching this and you want to be involved as well, please just get a hold of me, let me know. But we have some new ones. So Mad World had an incredible $25,000 contribution in their private round. Mad World is sick, right? So anyone who knows Yatsu from Animoca Brands knows that this guy knows his NFTs. He knows what he's doing. He's an investor at OpenSea and a bunch of other industry-leading platforms and NFT projects and games. So Animoca Brands is behind Mad World. The Mad World is going to be really cool. It's kind of like, I like to look at it as kind of like art blocks mixed with an OpenSea, kind of more end. So it's a curated marketplace. And I'm very, very bullish on this. We invested in it as well, but they gave a $25,000 allocation into the private round. That's huge, right? So we think this thing does anything close to something like OpenSea, and that's going to make this explode, this whole giveaway. So, and then again, got games like Star Atlas and Chain Guardians and Crypto Blades Kingdom and Yield Guild Games, Anarchy X, and Represent with a huge $100,000 contribution. This is just amazing. So really excited for this. Again, we're going to run it for a few more months, really get this value up, and then start buying up devices, handing out to families in need, teaching them how to play play to earn games, and give those families who have no other option for income, and give them, put food on their table, and maybe install some educational things on them for them, get some Wi-Fi going for them, and yeah, my goal is really to change the lives of 100,000 families on the planet. So I'm really excited about this, and I want to thank all the projects who have contributed, and welcome any other ones who want to contribute. So make sure that you guys smash up the likes if you think this is a cool idea, and let's get back to it. So guys, land sales, in-game assets. Tell me about it, Stache. You said that's what you've been looking at, man. So how are you, when we don't have any kind of games that have really taken off besides Axie, we got like ones that people are super excited for, like Luvium, or other ones like that too. How are you flipping these in-game assets, and which games are you looking at?
Well, there's definitely more games out there that have taken off than Axies, but once again, man, I think that there's just, you see what's very visible and what's going on, and I actually just dropped a video about Axie Infinity and their economy and what's going on with that, and kind of the long-term look for that, which may not be that good, honestly. So you guys might want to check that video out. But yeah, I mean, there's tons of games out there that I think that have a great potential that are playable right now. Some of my favorites, like Blankos. I don't know if you've heard of Blankos Block Party, but super AAA style game, and has a lot of players already. I mean, the marketplace is already popping off. People selling these Blankos, reselling them for thousands of dollars, and making pretty good profits off of them. Splinterlands, the OG play to earn crypto game, man. I mean, has exploded here recently as well. And they have, I mean, when you look at the game and feature set that Splinterlands offers over Axie Infinity, it makes Axie Infinity look like a freaking joke, man. Not necessarily to like dog, I mean, but like to dog pound on them, but but Doge Pound on them, but it's just like I said, all there's so much out there, but if you're only just scratching the surface and just going for whatever is the most popular, whatever people are just yelling and screaming about, I mean, you're not going to be able to find much after that, but yeah, so there's a ton of games out there. I mean, Gods Unchained, like we were just talking about, is a huge game. Like, they've had a couple of roadblocks, I think, but instead of, just grasping at straws, they went and said, we're going to build the best solution. And so that kind of put them a little bit behind on their roadmap of like getting some of their play to earn elements back up and running. But I think with this new Gods token and Immutable X, they're going to be really well situated for the future of gaming in particular, So yeah, so those are some of my favorites that I think are really good. Also, Light Night. If you guys don't know Light Night, FPS game, actually really fun, man. They've been in development for a long time now, but we were just playing it on my stream. I stream 4 times a week, or 4 to 5 times a week. Sometimes it's 5. Playing these games, showing you how to play to earn in them. That's like the main thing I'm doing on my channel. Nice. And so yeah, Light Night's great, man. So if you like FPSs. They've actually really polished it, so you can go in there and you can actually earn Bitcoin by playing FPS. That's cool, man. I was actually just had I don't know if you guys know Brett from the Brett Way. I had him on the show last week. He was saying he was waiting for an FPS game to come out that he could actually play to earn. So Brett, if you're watching, man, check out Light Night. Right, there you go. Check out Light Night, man. I mean, the graphics are like the kind of like low poly style, but the gameplay is actually pretty good. And then if you go into things like esports style games, right? So things that are kind of close to like League of Legends style, right? Or Dota 2. Gala Games has Spider Tanks that's coming out pretty soon, and that is super polished, man. I was just playing it in the beta, the closed beta for everybody about a week ago. So you guys can go check my video there, and that game is badass, man. I couldn't put that game down. I couldn't stop playing. And it's awesome, man. And so it's going to be a play to earn game as well. And someone else mentioned Theta and Arena. I've been trying to get in on a Theta and Arena beta, man. And so they it's been hard. I don't know why they're just not getting back to me. But I'm gonna be playing probably here pretty soon. So
I'll hook you up, man. We launched them on paid ignition.
oh, did you?
I'll put you in touch with the team. Get you some.
Yeah. So my buddy Kaggy's been playing on his stream and stuff like that, and I was like, oh, it looks fun, man. I want to jump in and give it a test, and so I've been having a little trouble getting a hold of the team. But in general, most of the time, I'm doing the breaking on these metaverses, on these play to earn games, showing people that sweet alpha. Or sweet beta usually most of the time. But, you know what I'm saying? So I think that it's a lot of fun to be in that position to be able to showcase really cool things. And I mean, yeah, the quality of games that are coming are blowing me away. Then you look at things like Star Atlas, which are pretty far out. Illuvium, it's got some time before it's going to get here. Big Time is also another one that is really
Big Time looks sick.
Yeah, it looks great, man. But these guys are probably a year plus out. There's
Big Time said July, I think. June, July, I think, something like that.
We'll see. I hope so. I mean, the thing about development, man, is it's always longer and more in depth than you ever really anticipate.
For sure.
Being a developer myself, not a game developer, but just a developer in general.
Another one you should check out too is that no one knows about yet right now. It's still. Maybe I'm getting my dates mixed up. Maybe it's July for this one I'm about to tell you about. But Cross the Ages is going to be really impressive. If you think Big Time has a good lineup and a good storyline and a good check out Cross the Ages. No one knows about it. It's very new right now, but it's cool. I think they're doing getting some of the best fiction novelists in the world. They really famous ones that have written all kinds of famous fiction novels, and they're making these novels to go along with this game. It's kind of like this trading card flip game, but what was the one you just told me about? Like Gods Unchained kind of, where it's like this this card game, and it looks really, really cool. But Stache, tell me, how are you making money in NFTs? It's because when we first came in, you said I make money every single day in NFTs, and then you told me that you were mostly focused on in-game assets and game assets. So tell me, that's what I want to know.
Yeah, I mean, so obviously I'm a creator as well. So I created, I have my own NFT series. So I've been selling those types of NFTs for quite some time. I just launched the very first interactive live stream NFT game for my channel. So it's called Secret Agent Stache. It's every Thursday. And this is, kind of a NFT gaming show, like game show, where you can use these NFTs to actually interact live with my show. There you go. Yeah. So that's one of the, that sales, gone actually pretty well. We wanted to make sure there was a lot of packs for the longevity of this game, not just like sell out instantly and people couldn't get in later, but basically it has these mechanics where you're crafting NFTs together and then being able to redeem them live on the show, and it shows you so like those disguises that you show there, like if you play that NFT while I'm live, then you get me to change into that disguise, and there's like some action ones too that get me to
no way, really?
yeah so like change, so like there's one called the Game Changer, so you can get me to change the game I'm playing live. So it's like if you play that NFT, boom, I got to change to that game. And so that, I mean, that's pretty cool. So selling NFTs is one of the ways I do it, right? So, selling my own NFTs like that I've actually made. But then, I mean, same thing, like, flipping NFTs, finding projects that I think are going to do really well. Like I got into the Gauntlets project. If you guys know that on Ethereum, it's by the same guy, Boss Logic, who does all the Marvel stuff, like Marvel posters and Marvel design. He's got some pretty cool things like that. But yeah, I mean, so I mean, flipping NFTs is one of those things. You know, just getting in early, finding these communities. It's not always easy. Like you were talking about, was it Galaxy eggs that you were talking about earlier? Yeah. So like I that was one I totally missed. I'm like, damn, this is great art, man. I wish I had seen it when it first came out. You know, and you know that just comes to having time on Twitter, and I think a lot of times and having time in some of these Discords. So that it's really about research, doing it that way, and kind of like finding when the right time is to flip them too. Because a lot of people think like, oh, if I just hold it for 2 years, like a CryptoPunk, then it'll be worth millions of dollars. But I think that those are kind of some special traits that are reserved for some of the first movers in a thing like that, you know. And not every NFT is going to end up worth tons of money just if you hold it long enough, you know.
Yeah, you talked about the gauntlets, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so this is one that so I think that something that everyone from this watching this channel right now can benefit from. I believe too that Boss Logic, his whole line is gonna blow up. Like, a good friend of mine who's super into digital art told me about first the gauntlets, and then I bought a bunch of the gauntlets, and then they dropped the blue box little guys. And so if you held the gauntlet, you got the blue boxes.
Yeah.
And then I think there's something else on the roadmap. But then this is all going to be usable inside of a game
in the metaverse, that they're building. Yeah, exactly. And so that's what I'm saying. So when you talk about, then you get into the gaming aspect, you know, buying gaming NFTs is, I think, one of my favorite ways to go about it, because those have, you know, because they have really high utility, and in particular in a game that people may like, it really gives them a longevity. You know, I have some Genesis Gods Unchained cards that are worth hundreds and hundreds of dollars, man. You know, so and those are things that people really will covet as the game grows and expands, because it's a AAA style game. Now, if you're talking about some small game that falls by the wayside, yeah, same thing. Of like these smaller PFP projects, they fall by the wayside. It's gonna happen. But you know, things like Star Atlas assets. You know, I bought a bunch of ships in their ship sale. I'm confident that game is going to deliver, and that those assets are going to be worth more when, you know, closer to the game launches. And I mean, the ships have already, you know, increased significantly in value, some of them. So and then when you look at actually playing some of these games, you know, you look at a game like Splinterlands, where, you know, you're earning, like, you know, obviously everyone knows Axie Infinity, but Splinterlands works a little bit different, and you're playing, you know, in a little bit of a different way. You're earning in a little bit of a different way. And so with Splinterlands, you earn every match. You earn your in-game cryptocurrency, kind of similar to SLP. It's called DEC. And then you're earning your daily reward if you do your daily quest, right? Similar to how you can earn a daily quest in Axie Infinity. They had all this stuff before Axie had all these things. But you know, so you're in there, but like it's a little bit different, right? Because you get these chests and they're random. So you may pull $1,000 card out of that chest, or you may just end up getting some more in-game crypto, you know? And so depending on how lucky you are, it could really, you know, boost those chances. And then you get your season rewards, which are every 2 weeks for every season. And you're getting those depending on your ranking, which is kind of similar to Axie too. And you could get, you know, really lucky with those. It's not just like, here's some crypto, you know, it's like, here's these 10 chests, you open them. And I mean, there's people I know have pulled cards that are worth, you know, like $10,000, like, you know, $100 to $10,000 on some of these cards. And then you're also earning for your collection. So however many cards you own or assets in Splinterlands you own, you earn SPS, which is their governance token. So kind of like AXS. And so you're earning that every single day too. And I mean, I've just since they've launched that, I mean, I've earned well over $1,000 on that. And then you look at Blankos, playing Blankos, they have their, you know, they do a season type of structure as well. So you play, you earn points during the season, and you unlock certain NFTs during the season. And the season type of format is pretty predominant in gaming. So you know, there's people who have gotten those high-end season rewards and resold them for thousands of dollars as well. So there's definitely a lot of opportunity there to play and earn and make money from it.
Yeah, definitely. Kyle, what was it? Tell us what it was like to make Doge Pound, and it's quite, you know, it's gone quite viral. Like everybody I know that's talk about Doge Pound. I wouldn't say it's quite a blue chip yet, but I think it's setting up to potentially be that. You know, did you expect that to happen when you started making the Doge Pound, or you know, was it kind of a surprise?
Yeah, I mean, that was at least the goal. I never, you know, quite knew how big it would possibly get, but yeah, we feel kind of ancient now. Even like I think we released like even I think we said it was about 9 or 10 weeks ago. It feels like it's been like 6 months when you see the amount of projects that have come after us. It's like it moves so fast. It's just insane. But so my background is mostly in marketing, and I used to own a mobile game studio myself, and my business partner is really successful in the mobile gaming space. So I think we knew that we had a chance to make it pretty successful. Obviously, there's some factors along the way that, I think some of it can involve some luck, and you got to make sure you make the right decisions. But our backgrounds definitely lend well to doing well in the space, marketing, building big communities, building cool products. And we come from the gaming space. It's really some pretty core skills that you need to have success in the space right now. So yeah, yes and no. It's been fun though.
Are you constantly evolving? Are you constantly thinking about the roadmap of Doge Pound and how it'll constantly add value to that community, or what's next on the Doge Pound?
Yeah, right now, I want to get ahead of, we're becoming more of almost like a publisher model right now. We're working with a lot of huge celebrities and influencers and brands, and we're publishing them through the Doge Pound and trying to get them, again, I always refer to it as our ecosystem. We're trying to build our community as big as possible. And I think we can do that through something like a Launchpad. Right now, most of our projects are Ethereum focused. But again, coming from the mobile gaming space, the biggest learning curve for us is like, how do we actually build stuff on blockchain, on all these different chains? And I think we're slowly figuring that out, and we will definitely have games that will come through our Launchpad in the near future. So one of the biggest values, at least one of the biggest value propositions, in my opinion, for the Doge Pound right now is just, getting early access to these really good projects. And the Launchpad isn't there it's not supposed to be, I hate to use the word like circle jerk, like you guys said. It's not supposed to be a circle jerk where everyone's getting in on the project and they're throwing their money around. I really want to bring in projects with celebrities that bring in their own communities into the Doge Pound, and it's not just us helping sell out projects. We're maybe getting in there early, but to be part of our Launchpad, you got to actually have a good product and bring your own community, and it's got to be something unique. I'm not. I can speak to this really quick too. Like the projects that I think are going to be successful long term are, ones that are coming out with a clear direction. Like I don't want to see some bullshit roadmap where it just says you're doing a companion, you're doing you're going to maybe make a game, you're going to do this, like
utility.
Yeah.
Cool.
Like a real direction. Like it's not some ambiguous, character. Like, maybe you have an actual experience with a brand right now, or you have an actual product, or maybe you have a somewhat functioning game. Or if it's tied to a certain niche. These are the kind of things that I like and the things that we'll focus on long term. If you don't have, again, if you're just, let's just use a random example. If you're making something called like Mouse House and it's just a bunch of mice, and you say you're going to make a game and you're going to make a companion NFT, and there's not really any clear direction, you should be able to see through some of these things and realize like, okay, this really isn't going to be successful. So yeah. That's really my focus. I want to continue to build more things that are unique and kind of get away from just the 10K generative art as time goes on.
So for people that are getting kind of new into the space and getting inundated with mints that are happening every day, obviously some of these people have been working on these for months, if not longer, and some of them just maybe for days or weeks. And it's really hard for me, even me who's been in it for a while, to even tell kind of like what's going to take off or not. You see somebody's like 8-bit pixelated or voxel kind of art that I just think looks like shit. And then it takes off like crazy, what is this, the one I got into recently? This Tamagotchi kind of thing where like what was it called? Like just, you just start off like a little, looks like a Nintendo bug. And then there's like a dog mode next to the pumpkin. It's like, this thing's going to grow into a pet one day and you can take care of it or it'll die. Mm-hmm. And at first glance, I thought, this is ridiculous. No one's going to buy this thing. And the next thing I know, it goes up, now the floor price is 2 ETH in like 2 days, It's
That's
insane.
what I'm saying, man. It's hard.
So what kind of advice can you give to people who are looking and getting inundated with like this, that, like you said, Stache, and your thing, just people just throwing shit at you left and right. Like, how do you know, or can you know what to take your bets on?
It's hard, man. I'm not gonna lie. It's one of those really, just doing the most research you can, really being involved with the community, understanding what's going on. looking at those things, like other Kyle over here was talking about roadmap and like what is it something that they're talking about? Is it actually like plausible? Can they deliver on these things? Are they going to? And it's a hard thing to be able to determine. So like talking with the community is one of the best ways, I think, and are the founders, are they doxxed or not doxxed? That's also a big thing. I think a lot of projects are going to get away with a lot of rug pulls here in the near future because they just are simply an anon team that put this together and they got 20,000 people in Discord and they're all kind of chomping the bit and then nothing happens. So it's hard, man. I'm not gonna lie. Like a lot of times it just comes down to gambling, and that's why I really don't necessarily like it that much. Because you're taking a pretty big gamble on these things. You don't know if they're going to appreciate in value, if you're going to be able to get your initial investment back. I think that's a lot of crypto in general, but with some of this stuff, it's a little bit more, a little bit more hard to determine. I think.
Wait, Stache, are you saying you don't think I'm actually a dog?
Wait, you're not a dog? I thought you were like the first talking dog.
Yeah.
And then also too, man, like, one of the things I've been noticing, and just to kind of piggyback on the sorry to interrupt, but like, now I'm starting to see more and more fake NFTs pop up on OpenSea a lot more. So I have fake Doge Pounds.
Yeah.
Someone sent me a bunch of fake Doge Pound NFTs, and I'm just getting them every day now too. So like that makes it even harder, man, to like wade through all this stuff and like research. So especially up and coming projects that aren't verified yet, you don't know if they're the real ones or not. It's becoming very hard, man. So that's to say, I'm very selective on which projects I get into, and which ones are which ones I put my money into in particular, so.
August, you Kong? Oh, it's a shout out to CyberKongs. Like I was gonna mention it, but like the barrier to entry is so high. But like where I'm getting a really good hint is like if you can find these communities, like you guys are saying. I think NFTs are all about communities, and I was like shooting the shit with Alex Becker a few weeks ago, and he's like, man, you got to get one of these CyberKongs. Like the alpha in that group is so insane, it's worth it. And I looked at it, and it's like, it was expensive as I think I got my Genesis Kong for like 40 ETH or something, and I was like, this is insane. But like, let me see what it's about, And then I did, and like, that community is insane, and you can just see it is pouring in, and that's not going away. Like that. There's no one in there talking about, like no one in there wants to sell their Kongs, and it just, and you're seeing the babies and the VXs, and now like the roadmap continues to evolve. And if you can get into it, like a lot of these guys have been holding these Genesis Kongs or babies for forever, and now they have access to groups like Wall Street Kongs, which Elliot talks about quite a bit, where he gets a lot of his stuff. And if you can get into early some of these things, and sometimes if you find a really active community that you think is valuable, but like that NFT hasn't gone up a lot in value, just hold on to it. Just hold on to it, because that might give you access to community that just has so much value within it that like it's worth it.
Yeah, I mean, and like I said, but I feel like those are kind of few and far between a lot these days. There's a lot of people just trying to go out there and cash grab, and they're not doing as good a job of giving back. I mean, even look at Bored Apes, man. Like, I feel like they're not doing that good of a job of like really creating any utility or giving back or doing a lot with it. I mean, not that they're not doing anything, but they had a botched, what I would consider kind of a botched drop for their mutant apes. But CyberKongs is a great example. Like they've already done a bunch of stuff and already had, so much value they're giving back. And, holding a Kong, you're generating bananas. And I got a VX, I got a VX Kong, and I wish I got in on kind of the Genesis ones. But they kind of vaulted past my liking there after a while. But, you like I said, it's really hard to know sometimes exactly what's going to pop off, man. Yeah,
I mean, it's great. It's crazy. I mean, this talk about like, I mean, earlier you talked about like these useless utilities and these things, but like, I don't know, like, it's hard for me to tell. Is the banana a useful utility? Well, you could argue that definitely is, because I'm making $500 a day on passive income just holding my fucking Kong. But then it's just a banana. But then also you can actually breed with these bananas, and like it's kind of bananas, the whole thing. So
yeah.
But I think what it comes down to at the end of the day is like, really, when you're talking about art and like generative art and these kind of, it's about community. And so if I can give, from my own experience, I'm probably way more of a noob than both Stache and Cal on this show. Like, but what I've definitely learned is that if you're going to get heavily into something, like look at that community and find out, you know, are they just talking about flipping when Moon, you know, when Lambo kind of stuff?
Yeah.
or are they genuinely excited about it, you know? And it's really hard to tell too, like this project, the Mechaverse that's coming up, there's over 100,000 people in our Discord just going off like crazy. That has been growing for a while organically. And so I feel like that's probably something that sticks around for a while. But then again, you know, now it's hard to tell it because people are coming in, they're just knowing that that's probably going to pump like hell. And so again, it's really hard. I guess one more question before we go.
Yeah, I gotta get going. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. When is it that you can tell if a community is organic and solid or not? Is it going to be before the mint or like long after the mint or right after the mint?
I mean, I would say it has to be before the mint, man. I mean, if you don't see that before then, you know, I don't know what else they're going to do after that. I mean, obviously people are going to come in, but you know, you definitely want to see it beforehand, you know, building hype for it.
Kyle, what about the Doge Pound community? Was it organic? Did it feel good before the mint?
Yeah, well, we got stuck for a little bit on our mints, and then we started to grow. It's important that you do grow organically as time goes on. Otherwise, right, you're going to have problems. You need new demand all the time, buyers and sellers and liquidity. Or what I'll say this really quick. You know, my background is mostly in growing huge communities. Like on Twitter, I've grown over 40 million followers, and what people really need to look for is real engagement. A lot of the communities. A lot of the NFT projects in the crypto space, it's all Twitter, right? So if you're looking at a project, make sure they don't have 30,000 fake followers. I mean, you can fake all this stuff, 30,000 fake retweets. Yeah. I mean, look for real engagement. Look to see who's commenting on the post. I mean, I can go out there, guys, and we can buy a page with 30,000 followers. I can go out and get 30,000 retweets. It's not hard to do. Yeah. But you can't bullshit everything. So look for real engagements. Same thing with Discord. If there's 100,000 people in the Discord, there better be people talking 24/7 all the time. Mm-hmm. Like if there's truly 100,000 people in there. So look for real engagements. And that's probably the only exception that I would make with projects if you're wanting to invest into them. If there's real community and hype around it, regardless of what they're making, then sure, it has a chance.
All right, guys. Well, I'm going to wrap it up. But Kyle, one more thing.
Kyle, I love you. You're a piece of shit, though. Fuck you.
Good night, good evening, good morning, everybody. Thank you so much for tuning in to Crypto Connoisseurs, Stache, Cal, from Doge Pound. Thank you guys so much for coming on. We love you, everybody. Thank you so much for being here. Appreciate it. Make sure that you're subscribed. Smash the like. I will catch you guys next time. Peace out.
See you guys.
Stache, thanks so, brother. Appreciate it, man.